Have you ever trusted someone only to realize later they were never who they claimed to be? The truth is, people rarely reveal their real intentions through words. They reveal them through small behaviors that most people completely ignore. A forced smile, a delayed reply, a strange reaction when you succeed. These tiny moments often tell a much bigger story than anything they say. Today, you'll discover 9 silent behaviors that psychologists often associate with hidden intentions. By the end of this video, you may never look at people the same way again. Let's begin. Intro. Every day, our brains process thousands of social signals without us even realizing it. The problem is that we pay attention to what people say instead of what they consistently do. Words are easy to fake. Behavior is much harder to control. Someone can tell you they support you while quietly hoping you fail. Someone can promise loyalty while slowly pulling away. That's why emotionally intelligent people don't judge others by promises. They observe patterns. Today's behaviors don't automatically mean someone is good or bad, but when several of them appear repeatedly, they can reveal what's really happening beneath the surface. Let's start with the first behavior. Behavior number 1. They celebrate your success. But something feels off. Imagine you tell a friend that you finally achieved something you've worked hard for. Maybe you got promoted, started a successful business, or reached an important personal goal. They smile, they congratulate you, they even say they're happy for you. But somehow, their excitement feels forced. They quickly change the subject, or they immediately begin talking about themselves. This is one of the most overlooked psychological signals. People who genuinely care about you usually become curious, they ask questions, they want details, they enjoy seeing you grow. But someone with hidden competitive intentions often struggles to stay focused on your success. Instead of celebrating, they unconsciously try to reduce the emotional importance of your achievement. Not because they always hate you, but because your success reminds them of what they haven't accomplished themselves. Envy rarely announces itself. It hides behind polite words, while leaking through behavior. That's why emotionally intelligent people don't only listen to congratulations, they observe enthusiasm. Because fake support often sounds positive, but never feels genuine. Transition. Now here's something even more surprising. Some people don't reveal their intentions when you're winning. They reveal them when you're struggling. Behavior number 2. They become surprisingly helpful. Only when you're weak. Have you ever noticed someone who disappears when everything is going well, but suddenly becomes very involved when your life falls apart? At first, this can seem like kindness, and sometimes it truly is. But not always. Some people enjoy feeling needed more than they enjoy seeing others become strong. When you're confident, they feel less important. But when you're confused, dependent, or emotionally exhausted, they suddenly become incredibly available. Why? Because helping someone can sometimes create influence. The more you rely on them, the more control they quietly gain over your decisions. Healthy relationships encourage independence. Manipulative relationships encourage dependence. Pay attention to how people react when you recover. Do they celebrate your strength, or do they slowly lose interest once you no longer need them? That answer often reveals more than months of conversation ever could. Behavior number 3, they ask questions, but never to understand. Have you ever met someone who always seems curious about your life? At first it feels flattering. They ask where you're going, who you're spending time with, why you made a certain decision, what your future plans are. It seems like genuine interest, but over time, something begins to feel different. You notice they rarely ask questions to understand you. Instead, they ask questions to collect information. The difference is subtle, but powerful. A person with sincere intentions listens without judgment. A person with hidden intentions often listens for leverage. They remember your weaknesses, they notice your fears, they learn what makes you emotional, and one day, they quietly use that information to influence your decisions or win an argument. This is why emotionally intelligent people don't answer every question simply because it was asked. Trust isn't built by sharing everything. It's built by watching how people handle the little things you already told them. Ask yourself, do they respect your privacy, or do they treat your personal life like a source of information? Because someone who values you wants connection. Someone who wants control wants access. Transition. But hidden intentions don't always appear through questions. Sometimes they appear through silence. Behavior number 4. They stay silent. When you need support the most, think about the hardest moment you faced recently. Who stood beside you and who quietly disappeared? Most people assume loyalty is proven during happy moments, but psychology suggests something different. True character is revealed under pressure. When life becomes difficult, people stop acting. They simply become who they really are. Some people vanish because they don't know how to help. That's human. But others disappear because your struggles no longer benefit them. Then, once everything is fine again, they suddenly return as if nothing happened. Real support isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just a message that says, I'm here if you need me. People with genuine intentions don't only show up when life is exciting. They show up when there's nothing to gain. Remember this: attention is easy, presence is rare. Behavior number 5, they constantly compare you to other people. Have you ever shared something you're proud of, only to hear, that's nice, but did you hear what someone else achieved? At first it sounds harmless, maybe they're just making conversation, but if it happens again, and again, and again, it's no longer a coincidence. Constant comparison slowly changes the way you see yourself. Instead of celebrating your progress, you begin chasing someone else's. Psychologists call this a subtle form of emotional manipulation because comparison creates insecurity, and insecure people are easier to influence. Healthy people inspire you to become better. Manipulative people make sure you never feel good enough. Notice how certain people react whenever you're feeling confident. Do they encourage you, or do they immediately remind you of someone who's supposedly doing better? One builds confidence, the other quietly destroys it. And that's a difference you should never ignore. Behavior number 6, they never accept responsibility. Have you ever noticed that some people always seem to have an excuse? If they're late, it's because of traffic. If they hurt someone, it was just a joke. If a relationship fails, they insist it was entirely the other person's fault. At first, these explanations can sound believable, but over time, a pattern begins to emerge. Psychologists often point out that emotionally mature people are willing to admit when they're wrong. They may not enjoy it, but they take responsibility because they value growth more than protecting their ego. People with hidden intentions often do the opposite. Instead of fixing the problem, they protect their image, they deny, they blame, they distract. And sometimes they even make you feel guilty for bringing the issue up. This is known as shifting responsibility. The goal isn't to solve the problem, the goal is to avoid accountability. Pay close attention to how someone reacts after making a mistake. Do they sincerely apologize and change their behavior, or do they keep finding new excuses? Because real character isn't revealed by being perfect. It's revealed by taking responsibility when things go wrong. Behavior number 7, they disappear until they need something. Think about the last time someone suddenly texted you after months of silence. At first it feels good. You assume they simply missed you. Then, a few minutes later, they ask for a favor. Maybe they need advice, money, a recommendation, or your time. As soon as they get what they wanted, they disappear again. One isolated moment doesn't mean someone has bad intentions. Life gets busy. People lose touch. But when this becomes a repeating pattern, it tells a different story. Healthy relationships are built on mutual care. Both people give, both people receive. But one-sided relationships work very differently. One person keeps investing, while the other only shows up when there's something to gain. Ask yourself one simple question: if I stopped helping this person today, Would they still stay in my life? Sometimes the answer to that single question reveals everything. Behavior number 8, they respect you, only when it benefits them. Have you ever noticed someone treating you with kindness in public, but acting completely different when no one else is around? In front of others, they're polite, they compliment you, they make you feel important, but in private, they interrupt you, ignore your opinions, or make subtle comments that leave you questioning yourself. This isn't confidence, it's performance. People with genuine respect don't change their behavior depending on who's watching. Their character stays consistent. Psychologists often say that consistency is one of the strongest indicators of trustworthiness. Anyone can act kind when there's something to gain. Real intentions appear when there's no audience, no reward, and no pressure to impress. So instead of asking, "How do they treat me?" ask something even more powerful. Do they treat me the same when nobody is watching? That answer reveals far more than compliments ever will. Behavior number 9, your gut keeps warning you, even when you can't explain why. Have you ever met someone who seemed perfectly nice, yet something inside you kept saying, "Be careful"? Most people ignore that feeling. They convince themselves they're overthinking. But here's what's fascinating. Your brain notices thousands of tiny details every second: facial expressions, tone of voice, body language, timing, and inconsistencies. Many of these signals never reach your conscious mind. Instead, your brain combines them into a single feeling. We call it intuition. Of course, intuition isn't always correct. Fear, past experiences, and anxiety can influence it. That's why you should never judge someone based on one feeling alone. But when your intuition keeps warning you, and their actions repeatedly match that warning, it's worth paying attention. The smartest people don't trust words alone. They compare words with actions over time. Because intentions are never revealed in a single moment, they reveal themselves through consistent patterns. Conclusion. The truth is, people rarely tell you who they are. They show you, not through dramatic moments, but through small, repeated behaviors that most people overlook. Today, you learned 9 silent behaviors that can reveal a person's true intentions. Not so you become suspicious of everyone, but so you become more aware. Because awareness isn't about judging people, it's about protecting your peace, your time, and your energy. The more carefully you observe patterns instead of promises, the fewer people will be able to manipulate you. And remember this: when someone's words and actions don't match, always believe the actions. CTA. If you found this video valuable, leave a comment with the behavior that surprised you the most. And if you enjoy learning about psychology, human behavior, and emotional intelligence, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Because the more you understand people, the harder it becomes for the wrong people to control your life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.